Hi everyone. I am recording the virtual training that we just finished for grades pre-K through 5. Just going to quickly go through this training again, and then I'll try to answer some of the questions that we got in the online learning, and I will also try to put my email in here at the end so that you can see where you can get some help. So first of all, the training here again is for pre-K through 5. I'm Tammy Reynolds, Assistant Superintendent here at Cache Public Schools. And then Amber DeWinter is going to be one of the teacher coaches for this program. She is our STEM coordinator for the district and one of our tech coaches to help teachers out with technology. So an overview of what we're going to talk about today, we're going to go over the basic program, and hopefully we'll be a little under an hour. We're going to talk about the expectations of students, parents, and cache schools, and then we're going to talk about the Edgenuity curriculum, how to get help, some miscellaneous details like lunches, and if you have an IEP or a 504 for your student, and then I'll try to take some questions. Okay, so our staff for the Digital Bulldogs is what we're calling them, or the Digital Dogs for short. So again, Mrs. Amber DeWinter is going to be one of our teacher coordinators that can help you with the Edgenuity program. And then Ms. Freeze is going to take care of our pre-Kers. Ms. Pinlan is going to be in charge of our kindergarten and first grade. Ms. Pennington, second and third grade, and Ms. Rose is new to Cache Schools, but she has actually taught virtually before, and she is going to be in charge of our fourth and fifth graders. So one clarification, I know that sometimes this is confusing because fifth grade here is in middle school, so the question sometimes becomes, why are you putting them back with elementary? And even our fifth grade, the way it is in the school system here in the brick and mortar traditional school building, the fifth grade uses mostly elementary curriculum because that's just the way those big companies break that up. But they are in the middle school, and we'll do our best to try to follow that middle school curriculum with the Edgenuity program. Okay, so what about the basics of the program and kind of student expectations? So the expectation for students is 45 minutes a day per course, per subject. So 6 subjects a day is about 4.5 hours, so 4.5 to 5 hours a day, especially by the time you add PE and any kind of extra activities in. So there's it's a school day. So if you come to school, you would be here for 7 hours a day. So at home, 4.5 hours seems a little bit short by that. But I'll tell you, it's going to be hard to get that time in. And the expectation at the elementary level, especially third grade and down, is that learning coach, who can be a parent, grandparent, older sibling, aunt, uncle, is monitoring and providing assistance for that entire time and ensuring that the student is doing what they're supposed to be, following the directions in the program. Especially if you have one of the littles, like a kindergarten and first grade, you are, as the learning coach, you are the teacher there in the household. You're the one that's helping them log on. You're helping them read the directions. You're helping to ensure that back and forth that child is understanding what they are supposed to be doing, and you're helping them if they get stuck. The difference is, while in the spring we definitely had the situation where the teacher or the parent was the teacher, hopefully you're getting a lot more instruction. So the Edgenuity program actually has a learning coach guide with instructions for the program. And again, like you're logging on, you click on something, it's walking you through step by step so that you know what you're supposed to be saying. There's videos that the student can watch, and then there's workbook pages that the students will be doing that you'll have there at home. There's no expectation that you should be able to do 4.5 hours of school all in one day. Even here at school, we come in, we might have an activity or circle time or a calendar or conversation around the circle rug. We might go and do 90 minutes of reading, and that can also involve our spelling and our phonics and our reading of comprehension. It might involve, depending on the student and the grade level, it could be letters, it could be all kinds of different activities. But then after that, we might take a snack, or we might do a stretch, or go out for a morning recess, come back in, do some math, go to lunch, come back in, have a snack, or maybe even lay down, depending if you're in those pre-K or kindergarten ages. And then again, go back after that point and do some science or social studies and activity at the end of the day. And so, yes, we stretch that day out to 7.5 hours. And so you should also, it's going to be very hard for an elementary aged student, maybe a fifth grader, fourth or fifth grader, but especially at that pre-K, kindergarten, K1 level, then it's very difficult for those students to sit for long periods. So you have to break things up and do a little bit, take a break, take a brain break, go for a walk, come back, do a little more. But that is pretty exhausting, and so you definitely have your work cut out for you, just like our teachers do. It's definitely work, and they keep everybody on track and make sure that everybody's learning throughout the day. You'll also have some PE lessons that are delivered by teachers and the occasional activity that they could deliver through Google Classroom. So we've asked all of our teachers to put their students into Google Classroom. They'll also have the Edgenuity program. If they're kindergarten through fifth grade, pre-K will not have Edgenuity. And then you may also be doing some things through ClassLink. So ClassLink is our program where our curriculars, activities such as like iStation or MobyMax or Google Prodigy are located. And so your student will be able to log onto that and maybe have some independent time that they're doing the computer. The program, the Edgenuity program, will kind of help pace you. It will tell you if you're ahead or behind. The teacher at the school will also help you to see, okay, are you ahead or behind? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? They'll be grading the students' work. The way that program works is at the end of the week, after you've finished everything you're supposed to for that week, you upload it to the teacher, and she takes a look at it and gives you some feedback on it. I think it's really important that as a learning coach, designating somebody who is going to be at that school or at that house, with that student for those 4.5 hours, that they can devote that time to them is really, really important because, kindergarten, you cannot log onto a computer and do this on your own. So it's going to take a learning coach in the household being guided by the teacher. And then here at Cash Schools, we've provided those teachers for you. We've provided the curriculum. We're sending you PE lessons. The other thing is that the teacher in this setting is really a parent coach. So they're the coach of the learning coach, so to speak. And so sometimes the meetings might be to where they want to listen to the child read, or they want to do some assessing individually, or it could be a group meeting to where everybody that's in kindergarten and first grade, or everybody that's in second and third grade, are meeting together, and as parents and teacher and the students can be there too, you're talking about those lessons and, okay, how's this going? Is this working? What are you having struggles with? Okay, well, here's a hint or tip that I do in my classroom about that when that happens, or here's a way to organize that. And so there's going to be some opportunities for that too. The teacher obviously is grading work and giving you feedback and trying to help you find those areas where your student may be struggling or tripping up, and some hints that we do in the classroom to kind of help get them back on track. Also, they'll help you stay connected to the building. So if it's picture day here at the building, we'll let you know so that we can try to schedule before or after school where you can come in and have your picture done. Or if you're in the fifth grade, when there might be some club meetings or something that your student could Zoom into, and some activities where they can also watch some things going on to help you connect to the building. So that Edgenuity curriculum it was chosen because it has some very good core subjects. It's good curriculum. It's going to help your student stay up with the regular classes. It also is very video based, and so for the student and for the teacher, and for the by teacher I mean the learning coach that's in the house, a parent, you can kind of watch a video together and see how this looks, and so then you can model it with your student after watching the video. The Edgenuity program is going to have the core subjects: English, math, social studies, and science. Although I'm being told we have an online program of social studies in the classroom here that they use called Studies Weekly, and so we may very well use some of the Studies Weekly stuff So the teacher has that option to kind of help you go back and forth. But definitely for English and math, that Edgenuity is going to be your curriculum. Now, the nice thing is it's not just a video curriculum, not just an online curriculum at this level. At this level, you will have a workbook. So there's a lot of times where you may be going through and looking at the video and seeing the directions, but then you're modeling it by working through the workbook or doing some type of activity that then you're going to take a picture of and upload into the program. And again, that's where the learning coach comes into play, because students, are not going to be able to do that independently. We're going to have some help. So very, very important, again, that the parent is able to devote a large amount of time to this type of learning if you're in the elementary level, especially again 3rd grade and down. I think you're going to see more independence 4th grade and up. 4th and 5th grade is going to have maybe some novels that you're going to read or some activities, and there's going to be a little bit more of it online that you may be able to walk away and let your child do on their own. I think it's very important that there's assessments and things in there. We need our students to do those assessments on their own so that we get a really good idea of what they're capable of. We don't want to put your child in a curriculum that's going to frustrate them and frustrate you. We want them to be able to learn on their level, and the only way that we can figure that out is to have really good assessments. So when they're doing those things like iStation, they need to be doing it totally independently. And you just need to be monitoring and making sure that, yes, you got your 60 minutes a week in on iStation, or however the teacher decides to pace that for you. So we have another program here at Cache Schools called ClassLink. So when you go to my.classlink.com/cache, and there's a portal. So if you go to the website at cacheps.org, up at the top, there's a ClassLink link, I guess, for lack of a better word. And so you click that and it'll take you in. Students log in with their email, so whatever their email address and password is in the classroom, and we can get that for you if you don't know what it is. And then that gives them access to a whole bunch of curriculum that we subscribe to here at Cache, from Moby Max to Starfall to their textbooks here in the classroom. And so we want to make sure that you get access to that too. So there's plenty of curriculum. We just want to be able to help you narrow down and figure out, okay, what are you supposed to be doing when, and what's your schedule for the week? And that's where that teacher is going to come in and help you. So what if you just don't get it and you need help? So there's a couple of things. There is some tutors in the program, especially at the secondary level. So it's really more of our 4th and 5th grade students that may see that. The Edgenuity program in general, Ms. DeWinter is going to have access to that and can kind of help if it's an Edgenuity problem. There's also customer support if you can't log in, you can't remember your login. But like I said, we can use ClassLink to help with some of that too. If it's a curriculum problem, like you're really struggling and you don't understand how to do this, and this math doesn't make sense, and we've changed this math since you were in school learning coaches, and so if that's the problem, then your teacher is going to be more of your help. But again, we've devoted an entire staff to this here at Cache, and so there's plenty of opportunity for help. The number one thing that you have got to not do, or maybe that you have to do, is to reach out for help. Do not shut down that computer. Do not get frustrated and not work for a day or two. It's very important that you are doing your schoolwork every single school day, and for the amount of time, so that you're getting through your work. You do not want to get behind, and that is probably the greatest risk, and I think it's our greatest concern here at Cache as we try to put this program together is, okay, we are we're releasing a lot of control that we usually have, where we can keep those kids working because it's our job. And in this setting, we're turning that back over to the parent as a job, and we're just coaching that parent and trying to provide as much information as possible for you. So email is going to be your best friend. Make sure you know your teacher's email and and my email. And so our emails here at Cache are our first name dot last name at cacheps.org. If you go to our Cache website and go to the schools, all of our staff is listed there, including our virtual teachers. And so that's a good way to find email addresses and reach out. But communication is probably the biggest obstacle that you will have, and it is also your best friend. So you've got to constantly, email, and let us know, okay, got this done, I'm good to go. We can monitor from our side. We'll be reaching out by email also, so make sure that you have that communication, because again, it's an obstacle. Your child's not here in our buildings every day, and so we want to try to stay in touch. The teachers will have regular school hours, so that 8 to 3:45. If you need a teacher after hours, you need to email them and set something up. And we've let our teachers know that we can be available to maybe make something work during the evening, and if that's the case, then maybe we need to shift some of those hours. And so we didn't want to do that right from the start. We wanted each teacher to kind of get in there and see what works best. But for right now, we have our teachers working those regular school hours. So what other kinds of miscellaneous details do I probably need to cover? Enrollment. So I know there's a lot of anxiety because you guys must seem like it's just been radio silence. Like we put this out here to enroll and then you hear nothing. For us, we're just running around like crazy. So the teachers have been doing a lot of training. We've been meeting with our special ed department. We've been meeting with our principals. We've been trying to figure out how much staffing that we need, how many teachers we need for this, how many teachers we need in the 6 through 12. And so there's been actually a lot going on behind the scenes. As we're starting to have these parent orientations, that's a good sign, because that means that we are moving on down the road and we've made some decisions. So what are you going to see in the next week? The tonight and then Thursday night at 5:30 we have another orientation where you can beep in to a Zoom, and you click into a Zoom, I guess, and then you can answer questions, do a question and answer session at the end. You can type in questions. After this week, next week you should start hearing from your teacher, hearing from the Edgenuity program, or really probably from your teacher, as far as like, okay, here's your Edgenuity login. We've set up a class link for you. Your emails are this, and kind of starting to get that information so that you can test it out and start figuring out, yes, okay, I can see everything that I'm supposed to do. I see my schedule. I know I'm in good shape. There is a trial period to try this. So once you kind of get that information, you have a 14-day trial period. After that time, then you are committed to a semester. So I think I mentioned before that we've been running around trying to get staffing together, and with over 500 students doing virtual, we have had to commit quite a bit of staff to this. And we cannot constantly have our class periods jumping up in the in-person and down in the virtual, or vice versa, because we are allowing people to jump back and forth. The other thing is, I think you're going to find that the virtual learning is very personalized. So you can, work ahead in some subjects, maybe work behind in some subjects, and then catch up with the other one, or rearrange a little bit of your schedule. It's going to give you some flexibility. But that flexibility comes at a cost, and that means that you are not maybe exactly where the in-person class is at any given time. And so that's another reason why we don't want you necessarily jumping back and forth. So if you go past that 14-day trial period, you're committed to Christmas. At the first part of December, we'll reach out and say, hey, everybody, have you decided if you're going to continue into second semester, or are you good to jump out? We need to start rescheduling. And then that'll be a time for us to go through and do some more staffing. There is several activities, especially at the 5th grade level, that you can still be involved in, as far as if you are 5th grade. Now, I have on here, I see this, that you can only attend one period a day and you must provide your own transportation. That's actually for the 6th grade through 12. Sorry, I'm using the same slides. But the 5th grade and down, you may not be on campus. There's no activities or anything that you can do as a 5th grader down, pre-K to 5th grade, on campus. So you can, however, come and get lunch. And I think that I have that maybe on the next slide. And so let me just back up and talk about IEPs for a minute. So if you have an IEP or a 504 for your student does, then we will probably be reaching out and contacting you to let you know that we need a meeting, and we can do those by Zoom, so you don't have to necessarily come in, or you can come in if that's what you want to do. But we will be reaching out because there may be some changes that we need to make in those individual plans, and or kind of rearrange some of the accommodations. And so just be aware of that. Also be aware, I think I just told you that there's over 500 kids in this program, and so it's going to take us a while to go through and make those meetings. So school might have started, and if you have any immediate concerns, I urge you to reach out to your case manager or reach out to Mr. Wynn. It's Gabriel Wynn, who is our special ed director. So if you need to do that, you can also reach out to me again, Tammy Reynolds, and I'm on the district page if you have questions about that also. State testing, you must participate in state testing if you're still virtual in April. So if you in December decide you're going back to the regular class, this doesn't even pertain to you. If you decide, nope, I love this program, I like being flexible, I like the virtual, I like learning at home, then when state testing comes around, we have to schedule you with your teacher to come in and do testing. Also, if you are kindergarten, first or second or third grade, you are required to meet the third grade RSA law. RSA stands for Reading Sufficiency Act. And basically our legislatures have said that you must be reading on grade level by third grade. And there are some things that we have to do as far as creating plans and monitoring that progress. And that's part of the iStation program. And so your teacher will tell you, you've got to do iStation at least 60 minutes a week, which doesn't sound like much, 4 days at 15 minutes and you're done. And that just fills in a lot of those skills, but it also does some testing behind the scenes. Very, very important that your student do iStation independently, because it's one of those computer programs that's measuring, do you know this? If you don't know this, then I need to go back and teach it to you. If you do know it, then I need to skip you ahead to something that you don't know. And it's constantly assessing, and it gives a lot of data to the teacher in the background. So when your student's on iStation and they're asking you questions, if it's not a login problem or a computer problem, say just do your best, and I'm sure that it'll be taken care of as you go through. So, and then if your student is continually saying that, I would suggest that you reach out to your teacher. But for the most part, that program does kind of some self-assessment, and it tries to keep your student at their level, and then it feeds the teacher in the background some information about what that level is. Okay, so let's talk about devices and lunches, and then let's go back and again, there's some club and organizations that you can be involved in. Also, I'm just going to start at the bottom. Also, I want to make sure that if you would like to attend ball games, if you would like to go to any activities that are before and after school, you want to come to See You at the Pole before school, you want to go to if there's a student counselor or some kind of meeting during school hours, we will that would be really at 5th grade level only. We would try to get the sponsor to do a Zoom meeting or send you notes or something like that, so you can be a part of that. And then if there's an activity before or after school, I'd try to keep you in that. If you are 100% a cash bulldog, we want to make sure that you feel like that, and we keep you connected to the building, because we plan to get you back in this building as soon as this whole COVID thing passes over. Lunches and breakfast. So if you would like to come and get a lunch, then you can do that through Grab and Go through the intermediate car line. So all summer long, we fed grab and go lunches through the intermediate car line, where you would drive in between the bus barn and the 5th and 6th grade, and you would go back behind the intermediate school, and the cafeteria ladies back there would give you a lunch to go, and it was usually a nice hot lunch to go for free. Now, during the school year, they don't let us feed you for free unless you do actually qualify for free lunches. They may let us feed you a reduced lunch if you qualify for a reduced lunch, or you may have to pay the full pay, and those prices are on the website also. You do have to be a student to get lunches during the school year. You will have to give the lunch ladies your student ID number so they can charge you for lunch, but your Google Classroom will push out some forms. You can fill them out and tell us, like, yes, I would like lunch Monday and Tuesday, and we will let you come and pick up those lunches and pay for them, and then you can take them home and eat just like you would during the school. You may not eat in the cafeteria. You may not come and sit in the cafeteria with your friends, but you could drive through and get lunch and eat with your family. And so, or your siblings or whoever happens to be the person, the people you're picking up lunch for that day. Finally, devices. So lots of questions about devices. The Chromebooks are available and hotspots are available to check out. If you have just one student doing this or two students doing this, you only qualify for one Chromebook device. Because the instruction is not happening all at the same time, we feel like two people can share a device. If you have three kids doing this, then we will issue you two devices. So we feel like 3 kids is probably too much to share. The Chromebooks come with a $25 insurance fee. That fee, the district makes nothing off of that fee. It is literally the amount that the insurance is charging us to insure the device. Or just passing that along as a courtesy if you would like to cover the damage on the device, so that if you drop it, break it, then it's covered and you do not have to worry about it. If you do not pay the $25 fee, then you are responsible for a device which is approximately $300, a little over. And just like if I checked a textbook out to a student and they destroyed it, you are responsible for that damage. So to me, the $25 makes a lot of sense. Hotspots also are available. These are the cell phone devices. We have a grant that's paying for all of this. You must have a free or reduced lunch form to get a hotspot. You have to have a free or reduced lunch form to get a Chromebook. So if you haven't done your annual enrollment and filled that out, you may want to go back and fill it out. If just because you don't qualify for free and reduced lunches does not mean that you cannot get a Chromebook. It just means we are required, because of the grants, to ensure that those are the people who get first dibs at them. And so as we work through that process, it's just easier. Regardless, you got to have a free or reduced lunch form to do that. Okay. Questions. So if you have questions, I'm going to just ask that you email me. I've got a couple of questions here, mostly about IEPs, and those are you're gonna contact Mr. Wynn for that. I did have a question earlier too about progress reports. So just like progress reports and grade cards are sent for the students who are working in our buildings, the students who are working virtually and at home will get progress reports and grade cards. Your teachers you'll be able to check, online through the Edgenuity program what your grades are for some subjects, and then other subjects the teacher might do something out of Google Classroom, and so they will create progress reports for you, and you can get those mailed to you just like every other student. All right, I hope I answered your questions. Again, if you have anything else that I didn't address, just email me at tammy.reynolds@cashps.org. We will have another one of these on Thursday night at 5:30. If you would like to join us, and it's the exact same material, just take 2. But we will be live for questions and answers through the chat box. And then again, next week, we'll start reaching out through those classrooms. I've let you know who your teachers are, so if you want to reach out to them, that's fine. They may not have a ton of answers, because right now we're still, like I said, finishing up training and trying to get access to our Edgenuity program so that we can get everything put together. So I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.